Tonight, I'm going to be interviewing Dana, and we're going to be talking about how to make money. Yes, money. If you don't have 1,000 subscribers, or what if you do? We're going to be talking about how to monetize outside of YouTube. Let's get started. Money, 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 money. Isn't
money,
funny.
money. How do you keep the lights on?
No, that's funny. So tonight we're going to be talking about how to make money from YouTuber, from
any live stream.
Yes, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube. And I brought on a little expert because you make money from your live show. Isn't that correct?
That is the truth, Sammy. That is how we keep these Mr. Glow neon lights on. Well, they're battery operated, but that is part of how we keep the lights on here at the studio that I'm streaming from.
Because you don't want to have no power. That would be bad.
Well, yes. So I think you should hit up your money, money, money song again, because you might have caught a few people off guard and they weren't ready for your ABBA premiere.
But we don't want to get a copyright strike. Okay.
That's all right.
Money, money, money isn't funny
when you got none.
Streamer.
Yeah.
Money, money, money isn't sunny when
it's
you're a
not
live streamer.
Funny. Yeah. So that's pretty good. I don't think you're gonna get a copyright strike because you didn't sound like ABBA. They might be able to fingerprint the music, but I think you're gonna be okay.
Yes. So my first
Let's
question is, how did you get started doing what you do now with getting income from YouTube and Facebook?
Yes.
And getting traction? How did you start?
Yeah, so traction is a good way to put it because right now our YouTube channel doesn't monetize, as we've just kind of started switching over to the YouTube platform. So there's a growth period that will take place there. But where we started streaming 4.5 years ago was to Facebook, and it was kind of new to the whole streaming gig and to the which platform to go on. And so Facebook was familiar with that. Never once did we try to stream in hopes of monetizing, which I think is one of the #1 problems. I'll say, maybe that's a big word, but we'll talk about that in a bit. But one of the conundrums of people getting started live streaming is that their why is because they want to monetize off it. I think that is a byproduct of having a good show and a bigger purpose as to why you live stream, which we'll also talk about. But so how did we get started? So some of you guys here probably maybe don't know a lot about fly fishing, but what we do is we have a show every Thursday night, and we tie flies. Okay, so it's kind of like a grown-ups arts and craft. And we started this 4.5 years ago. So why did we live stream it? Well, not that I could foresee the pandemic happening, but I thought to myself, if we do this at a shop or at a brewery, we can only ever have so many people come and join us. If we live stream it, the people, the population, the audience is, well, it's 7 billion people in the world. And so it'd be up to us to try to grow that. So always thinking that if for some reason we couldn't gather, I wasn't a psychic and predicted COVID-19, but it's actually turned out to be a pretty good thing that we did go live streaming, because as everybody knows, we got that taken away from us and we weren't allowed to gather anymore. And so our show, what we did kind of in purpose, so every week we would take our whole setup, we'd go down to a brewery and everybody would come and join us. We'd still live stream. But then when COVID hit last year and we got pulled to come back home, it was like, we can still live stream because the show can go on. And then we just ended up reaching a bigger audience. And so, kind of one of the things that we did, not even thinking about YouTube as an option to make some money, was we sold kits that people could buy. And then if they were to watch the live streaming show, they could follow along and do what we do on the show with their kids. So we kind of gave them a purpose or a reason to have to show up every week. And I know everybody's going to have a different channel or a different avenue that they're going to go down with their streaming. But I think the first thing that you have to understand is um, what can we do to people or for people that they will show up every week and sit through our 2.5 hour show. And for us, one of the first things we did was we sold the materials that we were using every week. And so then they just had to show up and watch, and then they could put the kits together watching the show.
Now, do you have any merchandise too?
Yeah, so there we're working on that right now. Um, Definitely there's the level of merchandise. And so we'll talk about a few things, and then let's go back to kind of the grassroots of why the why behind live streaming for us, more than just the what our show is, but just kind of the why, um, and what we get out of that. But we sell merch, so people can come and watch our show, and they can go buy T-shirts and hats, and um, we've we've built a few more things that people can buy for their fly tying stuff. So it's a great chance for us to use it or wear the product, and then people can see it, and then they can go in there and purchase. So that's a great way to make a revenue off your live streaming.
Great. Now, how much impact do you see with live streaming with your business?
So I will say that it is everything. Okay. And now our business is kind of twofold. In the summer, so we guide fly fishing. So we're not obviously live streaming. We're in the river taking people fishing. But so think of it like this. Think of your business, if you have a business or your business model, as a pie. And so every piece of that business fills up a piece of that pie. And so for us, so we had a very small piece of the pie, which was taking people fishing. And so the idea of this pie is your brand awareness, brand recognition. And the more people that recognize you or your brand or what you do, then your following starts to grow through that. So, we were reaching a very small group of people, very local. And so we wanted to start with this off-season project, which was tying flies, which is what most people did in the winter because they weren't able to fish because the cold weather and whatnot. And so we figured most people weren't super active outside. So we needed to try to take advantage of that. So then we added this live streaming, the show, the Thursday Night Live that we do, to the piece of our pie. Sammy talked about merch as a piece of our pie. And we have a couple other things that kind of round out this whole thing. And then they all point inward towards our brand, which is right here. And that brand recognition brings us trips in the summer. So it's kind of a full evolution of coming back to taking people fishing. And so that for it's everything, the live streaming, the ability to connect to people that are nowhere near here. They get to know us, they get to like us, and hopefully they get to trust us. So then when they do decide to make a trip out to our area, um, then we are the ones that they choose to come fishing with.
That's amazing. So, have you noticed that you made more income? Like, I don't want to say, did you ever have like another job? Do you know what I mean? Like, not
D-
content creation.
yeah, so I did a lot of things outside of this.
Do you,
Uh,
did you ever notice that this, what you're doing now, is making more money? Is that true? Can you can you stop your 9 to 5 job even if you don't have 200 2,000 subscribers, 5,000, because you have Facebook and YouTube and you have this audience. So is it
Yeah.
possible to quit your 9 to 5 job and do this full time?
Yes. But first, I think the biggest thing that everybody has to answer the question is because it is um the never-ending chase to quote unquote be monetized on YouTube. I see it all over the time. And I'm not taking away that is awesome. Um I don't quite know at what level or what value people are monetizing themselves, but if you think of what people are putting out for content, chasing the monetization on YouTube, it's very interesting that that is literally the beacon that they chase down. And so I said this before is I want to take us back to the grassroots of this and to ask yourself, why are you doing this? Okay, say there's no money in it, say there's no fame or fortune, and I need you to answer the question as to why. Why do you get up and say I want to live stream? Why do you get up and sit on Amazon for 6 hours and watch Sammy and trying to learn how to be a better live streamer and which equipment and stuff? Why do we do that? And when you can answer that question and it has nothing to do with money, I truly believe that your show is going to be successful because it becomes authentic. It becomes something that people are attracted to. And in doing that, it will monetize. It will start to pay for itself. So we asked the question, can you quit your 9 to 5? And it's like, yeah, you can. Okay. But like I wrote down here four things that are really important in live streaming. And the first one is let's say your why and your passion. So why are you doing this and are you passionate about it? So if you're going on YouTube and you're looking up and you're saying, okay, what's really trendy is um, doing Nike shoe reviews. It's going to get me a lot of followers and hopefully monetize. Well, what's going to happen? Okay, because the road isn't always straightforward. It zigs and it zags, and it sometimes becomes super frustrating and you want to quit. And if it's not your passion, if your why for doing this is just to get money, when you don't see money right away, you're going to quit. Okay, because it's a consistency thing and it is a grind. It literally is a grind, and nobody just shows up and overnight they blow up and they're making hundreds of thousands of dollars off of YouTube. It's literally it is a daily grind. And so when you know your why, then you can follow through with consistency. You can create a community, which is my third thing. So you know your why, you are community, you're consistent, and then you start to build a community. So you start to build your tribe of people that come to your channel, like Sammy's channel, and they say, whatever Sammy sells, I'm going to buy. And so they're going to sit there and watch through all of his videos because he's building a community of people that want to be around his live stream. Okay. And then the fourth part of that is demonetize. So whether like us, we sell our kits, okay, whether we sell t-shirts, whether we sell apparel, whether we sell fishing trips out of it, you need to have your people. Okay, if you've got one person showing up to your live stream and it's your mom, it's probably not going to monetize like you want. So you got to grind, you got to know your why, you got to be consistent, you got to build your community, and that's probably takes the longest. But when you're truly authentic about what you do and why you live stream, and all three of those things come together, you're going to monetize. And it's going to monetize outside of YouTube. You're going to get people come to you, want you to do shows with them. People will pay you to do shows. People will pay to sponsor your show, which is another revenue stream that we have. Is people pay and we put their commercials into the show. We use their products on our show. So there's so many other ways that you can truly monetize. That's not just getting so many views on YouTube, but in full circle, lots of views mean you probably have built your community. You probably got your tribe going, and you're probably monetizing off of them.
Yes, great. So, have you ever noticed that you worked harder to get monetized, not monetized, but to grow your audience?
worked harder
than
than
any other thing that you did. And then
yeah.
after you build your audience, did you think that you could monetize? Do you know what I
So
mean?
yeah, I do. And so if I think I know what you mean. And so answering the question is never once was monetization part of our why. Um, it's a bigger picture. It's obviously if we're gonna keep going at one point, we talked about it at the start of the show. We gotta keep the lights on in the studio, or there is no show. So there's definitely you've got to find the elixir that turns on the lights and starts to bring in some cash flow. And so it I remember, so this is the 4th year that we've been doing this. And I remember times where we would go live. We'd have like 10 people at the brewery tying flies with us. And so I was running all the behind the scenes. And it was like 2 people would show up, 1 person would leave, and then I think my mom would show up, just kind of stick around to make me feel good. And I was so defeated. And at the end of the show, Tim, the other guy that's on the show with me, we'd sit there and I'd be like, man, I just don't think people want this. This isn't what the people want. Is it's exhausting. And so then what we had to do is come back to our why, and our why was all about the people that we were serving. So whether 1 or 2 or 3 people showed up on our live stream, we just let it go, and we're like, we're showing up to serve people. We're building content, so we're repurposing the live stream, and we're serving our people, and we kept to that. And now we can be 160 to 200 some people sitting on our live stream, for 2.5 hours of us kind of making fools of ourselves, tying some flies. But it's because it's a really cool community of people who want to be there, and they're there for each other, and they matter to the show more than we probably matter to the show. Is our a community of people that show up every week. So it's a grind. I've wanted to quit many times. It's a lot of work. It's exhausting. It really is. And just this season, we're starting to see the climb happen.
What was the first moment? Or like, when do you remember when you first got money for doing your show? How did you feel?
Um, it was this season, and we invest a lot into the show. We invest a lot into the materials, the time. We have never even like put our time into the equation as like, what we should be getting paid. And then this year when we started up the show, and we put our kits for sale for the first time. Um, Normally we would just make 20 kits and we would put them at the brewery, and the people that would show up would just get them for free. So that was an investment. And then this year we finally made that jump to throw it out there and see if we could sell more kits. And we made 80 this year, and they sold out in a couple weeks. And I remember calling Tim, and I was just like, it's like we're doing it. It's actually starting to happen. But if you think of 4 seasons, this is our 4th season. We're about 20 some episodes a season, so 20, 40, 60. So we got to be close to 80 some live streams, coming into this. And it's like, and think about 2 hour shows. Think about the time you put into getting the show ready. That's a lot of hours before you start to see stuff pull together. But even at that, we're just focusing on our why, and why we show up and why we do our show. And I can't emphasize that enough. It's like, if you lose your why, you're going to lose your way, and you're going to have 2 people forever showing up to watch you, and one of them might be your mom.
Yes. So, what did you first do when you got money for doing the live stream? Like, did you reinvest in your show? Did
I
you
went to Disneyland. No, we couldn't. The borders closed. We're not allowed. Yeah,
wait?
so
So you went to Disneyland?
no, it's a joke. When people get money, they say, I'm going to Disneyland. We would have come and visit you, Sammy, but the borders are closed, so we're not allowed. Yes. So what did we do? We reinvested our money. We bought cameras. We bought better lighting. We bought more things for the studio. We got a big, huge monitor TV that's kind of behind this. We spent money on soundproofing the studio, software, hardware, teleprompters. It just kind of was our thing, is like, okay, that money isn't going to be paying our bills, but it's going to up our game, because when people are investing their time into sitting in your live stream, we need to invest back into them by giving them a quality show, getting cameras that work, getting audio that's good, and up in the entertainment value of our show.
What was the best investment that you made from being monetized from Facebook, YouTube? What?
This t-shirt. This t-shirt. That
That
was the best
t-shirt?
investment. That's the best investment. What was the best investment? Well, probably we switched over to Ecamm this year. Before that, we were using Mimo Live, and that literally changed the game for us. We bought a couple more cameras. You can't really see around the studio, but we fastened stuff so we get cameras that hang off the roof. The best investment, what would that be? This teleprompter, which is pretty new, a couple 3 weeks old. It has to be one of the best. Probably something you can't track is the investment of, we now had time, because before we were spending our weeks packaging these kits, getting the material, and that just cost us so much time that we didn't get to put time back into the show. So probably the best investment that we got out of this was we freed up a lot of time, and we got to put it back into, like, spending time learning about the software, the hardware, things that we could do to make things better. Does that make sense, Sammy?
Yeah. So also, how much time did it make you? How much time does it make, like, the first time? Do you know what I mean? Like, the first second you create, then how much time is it? Do you know what I mean? Because some people ask, like, how long this will be.
Until they start to make money, or like
Yeah.
how? So I think for everyone it's different. If um yeah, I'm like, where we're at, it's like we're in a very niche group. Um, I don't know if there's a lot of there's always competition. Okay, so I'm not gonna say there's not a lot of competition, but we kind of really niche down into what we wanted to do. We chose our ideal client avatars, so we knew exactly who the people were that we wanted to serve. Some people talk about this. I see on the Facebook groups. It's like, how do I deal with bad, negative comments or bullies or people stuff like that? And that was hard at first, because we would get some, jabs back our way, and it was like, man, how do we? And we tried to appease everybody at the beginning, and then we realized, no, we don't have to appease everybody, because we appease the people that are right for us. So in building our community, we had to kind of sift through people that didn't belong. And yes, it was a view and it was watch time and stuff, but it didn't serve the purpose, because it came at a cost of um, attracting the wrong people. And the reason I say that, to Sammy's question, is because when you start attracting the right people, when you know your why and you stick to that, you you exponentially grow 100%. But when you're throwing darts at different dartboards, trying to figure out, like, yeah, like, should I do this, or should I appease that person, or this person's opinion said my show sucks, and should I listen to them and try to change course? You're going to take forever. Okay. It's not easy. to say, I respectfully, you're not from my show, and I don't have to appease you. But when you do that, the roots to your show become deeply rooted, and you start to organically grow. Okay, there's that organically growing is powerful because it takes a little more time than like becoming viral overnight or having some random video that you posted have 2 million views. It's that slow, gradual growth, knowing your why, being consistent, building your community with the right people. It, yeah, I mean, we're 4 years and we're starting to see it happen, which is super fun. But I mean, it ebbs and flows, and we could say next year, oh, that's just too much work, or we can keep going, and maybe we increase a little bit next year, and over a 5-year plan, we can look back and say, wow, like that's where we were 5 years ago. So, I mean, I think it's just different, Sammy, for everybody.
What one advice to give someone that is just starting to want to get monetized on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, even Twitter? But Twitter is dying down with the live streaming. But
Yeah.
if you're living on the edge, any advice?
I think just like, I've said it 50 times and I'll say it again, but know your why. Like what what keeps you going when it's not going, like, you got to be your biggest fan. You got to sit there and say, I know why I'm doing this, and I'm serving a purpose, and I'm not chasing likes. I'm not chasing, I know it's why we're here. It's what we're talking about, but that stuff is a byproduct, and it works, and it happens, but it's like, know your why. Don't throw darts at every dartboard in the pub. You gotta literally say, this is what I'm chasing, and you gotta chase it. You've got to find people who are better than you and respectfully become mentored by them. Respectfully listen to people that you truly believe are in the place that you want to go. And from the people that are back here chirping away at you, you know you just got to go, you just got to let them go. And whatever platform you're on, this isn't a platform specific idea. This is a live streaming. This is knowing your why as to why you're streaming.
If someone is starting out and they want to sell a product, what do you think is the best pricing?
The best pricing, well, what's the product?
Anything.
So
Like,
talk
oh,
to
pretend fly fishing. Pretend it's your, like, evil twin brother.
so what do you mean, like what's the best pricing, like?
Pretend if someone wants to create what you do and they are fascinated in it, and you had an evil twin brother that wanted to copy you.
So I know, but what do you mean, like what like what's their cost strategy, like
Yeah,
what's their?
cost.
So I think um I'll just keep throwing it back to this organic growth. So you got a t-shirt that you paid 20 bucks for and you charge $90. I mean, yeah, you're going to make $70 off of it, but is somebody going to come back? Or if you go at a t-shirt that costs $20 and you charge 25, you're making $5, but moving more product. Maybe you get more people in the traffic sense coming into your show, picking up, saying, maybe that's more affordable to us. So I guess just try not to become rich on the first time you sell a product. Uh, that organic growth might be the magic there.
When you start, how many products do you think you should start with?
So I don't remember this research, but I remember the premise of it, and it went something like this: is people don't like a lot of options. So if you said, I got 10 t-shirts to pick from, most people will just go through, add to cart, pull away from the cart, add to cart, pull away, maybe because they're going back, and you're giving them too much to decide on. instead of having like 2 or 3 options where it's like, uh, hey, here's 2 or 3 options. People can make decisions quite a bit quicker than they actually will never make a decision if you give them
Yeah.
too many options.
It's like the M1 Mac.
Exactly, right?
They
Like,
have,
it
okay, the M1 Mac Mini and the MacBook and the MacBook Air, not the 16-inch. And then the iMac. They are going to do it, but this is the first unit. So you should really have a first sample tester like Apple. So pretend I want to sell these random headphones, and I had 3 more that look different, sound different, and they are the same price. No one will know. So it's great to have less is more. And that's why everyone says less is more.
yeah. Well, and it's not to get into a PC versus Mac
Yeah.
conversation, but I think a lot of things with PC is there's so many options. Even for myself, I find that I'm pretty technically inclined to knowing, somewhat what things are. But it's like when I look at some of these PC options, I'm like, I don't know. I want something. I want to spend this and I want it to just work. I want it to work with all my devices. I don't too many options and I can't make up my mind because I'm actually not a professional in that area. Where sometimes when we're selling products to people, we're not selling them because they're professionals at a t-shirt or professionals at the fly tying kits. It's like, just trust us. You have two options. You can do this or this. And they're far more likely to buy into it than they are if you've got 500 different options. So less is more.
And that's why Apple is king. That's what I think.
I think
Because
so
they
too,
don't
Sammy.
have 2 million softwares. This
Yeah.
and I see this everywhere. And this is why apps like Clubhouse and this and that are not on Samsung, because they have 2 million devices. Apple
Yeah.
just has 10.
I mean, it's a marketing thing that's been proven, and it doesn't mean that Apple's better than PC, which it is, but it is just it's the idea of less is more. So back to the whole point of the stream is like we're talking about monetizing outside of being monetized by your platform like YouTube. And so it's like, yeah, you want to have some swag to sell. So here's another thing to add to that is
Yeah.
a lot of people do like buy me a coffee or what's the other one, like Patreon or something. Um, I think people are far more likely to buy a t-shirt off you. Okay, so if you want someone to go buy me a coffee for and tip you $5 or whatever, that's awesome because oftentimes people ask, "How can I support your show?" So for us, people come to us and they want to donate. They're like, "How can I donate to the show?" And I say to them, "Why don't you go buy? We have this whole drawer is full of thousands of stickers. It's $4 or $5 for a sticker. Cost on the stickers is probably $1.50, so we're making $2 to $3 to $5. But it's like buy 5 stickers, right? That's I'm making $20. That's them giving their buy me a coffee, but I can give them something. Why? We talked about the brand recognition, so Sammy, your stickers should be there pretty soon. But it's giving people something for that instead of, do you know what I mean? Like I know it's kind of a gray area, and I know that some people just want to like tip you, but for me, it's like I just want to give you something for what you're giving me. And I know that they feel that you giving on your live stream is giving, but I just have a simplest product we have is stickers. And it's like, just go online. It's $1 for shipping and pick out 10 or 15 stickers. And a lot of our stickers will just do one time run. We'll put 50 of them out there and then people just keep coming back, and that's a very cool way to get people to quote unquote buy you a coffee,
Yeah.
but they get something out of it, and that goes a long ways.
Yes, and knowing your market or followers, that's key. And I just checked something. Apple made 25, 26 iPhones ever.
Yeah.
And they perfect it. Now, Samsung has 2 billion. How many Samsung phones are there? I just look. And I think there's thousands because there's cheap, expensive, medium priced, and you don't know which one to buy. And that's
Mhm.
with what we were saying. But when you're on iPhone or Apple, you only have these choices and they're more simpler. And this conversation is going from technology to live streaming because when you have a viewer that wants to buy something from you, like a
He's your
shop,
tribe. He's in your tribe. He trusts you.
yeah. And
Like think
remember,
about
kids, remember, viewers, less is more.
and
That's
think
our
about
lesson.
we talked about building your community, and it's like Apple, it's a very powerful following of people. And if Apple puts out a Apple iPhone 13, probably 90 some 5% of those people who have been with Apple buy that or the 14, or they're upgrading into the Apple. If you think, and this is not proven, folks, do not hold me to this. This is just my head talking here. It's I would think that people with like Samsung or Huawei's or what's the Google phone, I
Pixel
bet you
or
Pixel,
Huawei.
I bet you they switch between those three quite often.
Why?
Because not why? Because they're anti Apple. They don't love those ones. They're just for some reason anti-Apple. And it's so I look at it like that and it's like, well, you have a strong tribe or a strong community that follows them. And there's also the people who don't, they keep resisting it. And that's fair. That's their choice. But when you talk about building your community, and we talked about sifting through the people that they're not there for the right reasons. And so you don't have to, it's not that you don't respect them, but you don't have to cater to them because they're probably people that jump into your live stream and they say ignorant things. And it's like, so really fine tune your community. Your stream will grow, which in turn people will buy your stickers, your hats, your clothes, your kits, your educate. You can throw out some, hey guys, we got a private Zoom call after this. It's $10 to get into it. If you want to keep the show going, $10 gets you, and this is free. We're going to meet on the Zoom call, pay $10 at whatever, buy me a coffee, whatever, however you set that up, and you're going to get a Zoom link. And now what you're doing is leveling people up into this like backstage pass. Because what was really cool about concerts when your buddy came and said to you, hey man, let's go to Metallica. I got backstage passes. And it was
So yeah.
Sammy, you had something piping in here.
What?
Doc Rock.
Oh.
I was like, did you change your voice on us?
No. I think something just popped up.
Yeah. So yeah, that's like the backstage pass. There's another way to monetize is getting people like after the show, we're gonna go do a behind the scenes or an after party.
Yeah,
And
on
$10 gets you a Zoom call invite.
call.
And there's no content, there's no structure. We just sit here and chat. And we've done that on our show. We haven't charged people for it, but like it's a handy way to say, hey, you want to give me $10 as a thank you? You get more of my time, or you get a sticker or whatever.
Yes. 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 Yes.
How's the comments going? I think another very important thing in live streaming is making the people who tune in
Happy
and gift of their time a
to
part of
say
the show.
thank you.
So yeah, so
And you
if
have to say
there's
thank you,
questions
everyone.
here,
Does
yeah.
anyone
So if
have
people,
questions? right now. But thank you guys for watching. Hope this helps. And we're going to go on to Q&A right now for the live viewers. But if you're watching the replay, I think you're going to watch another one in a couple days. You know my schedule. And it says on the channel banner. Hope I see you soon. Subscribe if you haven't. And I will talk